Greetings to all our viewers. My name is Jenny Washira. I'm the Divorce Care Program Director at Parklands Baptist Church. And today I'm very excited to witness a group of participants who are going through their commissioning and graduating after completing their 15 weeks program. We shall be commissioning season 7 today. And with us today, we have a small group who want to share their stories, their testimonies of how the program has helped them, has impacted their lives. And we shall start with Timothy Mutany.
Well, I had divorce care about divorce care from a friend, and she directed me to Parklands Baptist. And one of the things that hit me when I got divorced was the loneliness that followed. And having been used to this life of having a spouse, having a friend, having a partner that we share and do life with, that separation hit me hard, because marriage gives you some dependency on functions, roles, and many things like the societal aspect, because after divorce you have to start explaining to people why you're alone, why you're coming to the event without your spouse, why groups that used to be together you no longer tag along. And it was a really hard time, because again family and friends will also pick sides, and at some point I was left wondering whether who is my friend. And the people I would reach to, some of them would not be on my side, and it was a tough period. And thanks to DC, I got a new family, I got new friends. Some of them are here, people that I can now do life with, people who know the journey I've gone through, and people that I've shared the last couple of months with, who are now my really close and true friends. And what is so important for me is that having shared similar experiences, or having gone through almost similar circumstances, these are people who understand me and take me for who I am, and they have been able to help me recollect my life. And also it's like a rebooting of my life systems.
I couldn't agree more with you, Mutany. Loneliness was a very big issue for me as well. I suffered a lot because we had to share the children, and I walked out of my marriage, so I had to leave my friends. I would find myself in my house alone when my children were at their father's place, and it was a dark period. I would lock myself up because of the fear of going to have to explain to yourself or to your family, your friends, what happened, and I isolated, just like Mutany said. But a friend of mine posted a poster on divorce care in 2020, and I got so happy because I couldn't believe that the church is now talking about divorce. So I quickly signed up, and I did the course at that time, and it renewed my hope. I was able to connect with people who are walking the same journey. It was fantastic. I got a lot of healing. I was restored. I have better relations with my children, and also I co-parent better. And my time is now spent doing so much more. I've enhanced myself career-wise. Even personally, I have now gotten into a wellness program. I am much better, and of course had a closer relationship with God. So divorce care is something that I would recommend to anyone who is out there feeling lonely, feeling isolated. It's a place where you connect with other people who are going through the same thing, who have been through the same thing. And it's also an opportunity to serve the church. I also had an opportunity to co-facilitate, which has helped me develop my skills and grow personally.
One thing I've learned from Divorce Care Program is that it is not an institution that is bad. It is not a church that is bad. It is not a society that is bad. Just a few individuals who decide to judge you based on circumstances in your life, and we need to accept whatever circumstance comes in and run with it. So one thing I would like every person out there to know is that when such a thing happens to you, being in a program where you have people who are going through the same circumstance helps a lot. And thanks to DC, I am the person I am today. I have healed, I have forgiven, and I am moving forward with my life.
My name is Pamela Muni, and I am a participant of Divorce Care Season 7, Group 1. I got to find out about Divorce Care from a mutual friend, and it was really timely because at that time I had just gotten into a separation and I really was alone. It was a very lonely place to be at. Many people did not understand exactly why I was in that situation, and I experienced a lot of stigma around me, and it was very difficult to even talk about it. And so when I came to Divorce Care, it was a community of people going through a season in their lives, and there was a lot of openness, a lot of love, a lot of acceptance, and I really, really felt, at home, and I was able to share. So what I'd like to say about the support groups, there's a lot of authenticity, and I also really enjoyed the focus of the Word of God, and just really being real and facing real situations. One of my takeaways from Divorce Care is the ability to be amicable with my ex and to embrace co-parenting. I think for me that was really a major takeaway. It's a walk. It's a daily walk, but I just really want to appreciate especially the resources that are given and the support from people, older people. There's a lot of mentoring by older people, mentoring by younger people, cross-mentoring, and so you really get to learn a lot. Thank you very much, Parklands Baptist. This is amazing. The truth of the matter is, as somebody who's a theologian, these are things that are happening in church. And we need to be really open about it, and we need to allow people to come through to church to heal. Because really, that's what church is about. It's about coming to a fellowship where you can be real and where you can actually be able to internalize what the Word of God says, apply it, and be able to find hope. Thank you so much. It has been a wonderful journey.
My name is Marcatia. I'm a participant of Divorce Care Season 6 and came back in Season 7 to help with the facilitation of the same. My takeout is one of the big things I learned is to accept myself. When I was coming in, I would really struggle to tell anyone that I'm separated. But through that therapy, I'm able to tell somebody I'm separated, I'm going through divorce. I also normalized calling my former spouse, she became my ex through the process. And this is just a place of acceptance. I know it's very difficult for men to seek help. And I remember when I met a friend of mine. In fact, that friend is here, this lady here. We met in college. We were doing some studies together. And she told me about Divorce Care. I signed up, but it took a lot of effort from her to push me to come to attend the classes. And I know it's something men have. because we fear maybe exposing ourselves. Sometimes as a man, the ego thing, you feel like you have it all together. But when I came in, I remember I serve in a church. I'm a pastor, and coming in, I was fearful. I was looking, who are my congregants who are in this, who are in this thing here, because of the stigma. Somehow, divorce is frowned upon in many churches, including my church. You don't go about publicly telling people I'm divorced or I'm separated. However, when I came into divorce care, I got the courage to speak about divorce. I can stand anywhere and talk about divorce because it happens to humans. I'm a human being, so it happens. And I've accepted myself, and divorce care has helped me to know what next. Another takeout for me was just the civility of dealing with my ex when it comes to co-parenting. We used to really fight, back and forth. But through divorce care, I've learned the skills of not being able to reply a text message that, I'll sleep over a text message. For me, that is a miracle. A message comes in, I want to reply like now, and I want to share what I feel, what I think. But divorce care helped me just to calm down. I'm able to see her as another human being who also is seeking her way out and about going through this pain of separation and divorce. I'm also able to look at my children and, understand that they are going through divorce also. So walk with them. So I really want to encourage my fellow species, the males out here, seek help. If you've gone through separation, if you're going through divorce, seek help. Even if it's not divorce care, I love group therapy. I grow well in a group. But you can also seek therapy out there and seek somebody who can help you go through this season. It is just a season which you need help for you to keep your sanity intact. Lastly, is just to say thank you so much for the men that I found at DC. I found my brothers who are here, and they've been able to walk with me, to encourage me, and to give me a space where I can speak about things as a man. Even as I listen, when there are two things that happen in divorce. Either unatokwa ama unatoka. If you're a Kenyan, you know those things. And so for me, she walked out. Now, I came in and I was able to listen to ladies who walked out, and it made me understand why my ex walked out. And I was able to forgive her and to allow her to be who she is. And so I'm so grateful to God. And men, you cannot allow this thing to sit on you. Don't pretend you have it together, because the vices we get involved in, be it alcohol, be it these other things, and company out there, even if you got another chick immediately, after some time you are still in pain and you'll hurt yourself, you'll hurt that chick, you are likely to hurt your children. Seek help, come out so that we can live long and live healthy lives. Thank you so much.
So thank you very much, Evans, for sharing that. I'm really proud of you and seeing how you came in and you have embraced the program and the program has embraced you. I thank God for you. And you've talked about acceptance and, accepting help, seeking help and receiving it. And for me, that was very, very key, receiving and accepting help from family and friends. And in addition to my family and friends, existing friends, divorce care also provided another gigantic group of friends, a support system that has always come through for me. My name is Elizabeth Mairura, and I participated in season 3 of divorce care. My marriage ended, physically. The physical end of my marriage was in December 2019. The legal end of my marriage was 3rd August 2021. And as you can imagine, it has not been an easy walk. There's so much that goes on in your life during this time of divorce and separation. It is a very disruptive season. For instance, the parenting, there is how maybe I had organized the household, and now all of a sudden the household constellation has changed, and it's just my daughter and myself. And first and foremost, I want to appreciate my sister, my biological sister. She took us in for like 4 whole months. Who takes in somebody else in Nairobi for 4 months? She took us in. She took very good care of us until I was able to be on my feet again. And my daughter and I started our own lives in a nice small place. And I realized that for me, family and friends, to date, I am always going back to them for help. Because, for instance, now as a single mother, I decided I'm not going to have a live-in house girl. I have a day bag. So, for instance, today, Saturday, we're having a graduation ceremony. I realized the whole of today, I'm going to be away. Yesterday, I had another event that ended at 10 p.m. So where is my child? And I don't have a live-in house girl with my friends. My daughter has been in a sleepover from Thursday to tomorrow. I'll go for her tomorrow. So I can never underestimate the role of having other people. Embrace the help of others. Surround yourself with people who love you, care about you, and will root for you. Every now and then, when I feel I'm down, I will call a sister from DC or a friend somewhere, pour my heart out, and I know they will pray for me, they will stand with me. So I can always say, do not try to walk this journey alone. It is tough. Get friends, get family, get people to hold you up in prayer when you cannot hold yourself up.
Yeah, just in addition to that, I think DC, what I could say is, thankfully, within church, there's a lot of stigma amongst Christians. They do not know how to handle people who are going through divorce care or a divorce, or separation. Most of the time, you may feel, looked down upon. Even some church workers, they lose their jobs because they are now going through a separation, and they are, discarded, put on the periphery. It's like you start to feel like a black raisin in a white bread. You stand out. Now, my prayer is we will raise many churches like Parklands Baptist Church, and thankfully for the leadership of the church that has come out and embraced those who are walking in pain, those who are walking in this season. Programs like additional programs like for single and parenting, and even for children of those who are divorced and separated, that they've been brought on board, and because also my children are going through divorce. I am going through it, my ex is going through it, all of us are going through it, and we need support. And the church should be on the forefront of doing this. And thankfully, Paki is doing it. And other churches, my prayer is other churches will embrace it. And we are the church, the Christians, wherever you are, if you know somebody who is separated or going through a separation or divorce, embrace them, walk with them. And if you cannot do anything, then send them to a program like Divorce Care here at Parklands and any other place where we have such support systems, and they'll prosper. That would be my additional point.
Great. Thank you, Evans, for sharing that, and thank you, Liz. And I need to actually say, apart from the church and the friends, probably you feeling rejected by that, there is also the individual guilt that, for me, I would say I struggled with. I am Elizabeth. I have done season 7. I was in group 5. And I would say that through the divorce care program, one of the things that I've come to do is to reconcile with myself that when God says that if you confess your sins, that He's faithful and just to forgive you, then for me, I have reconciled that truly the Lord forgives me. And if the Lord forgives me, then I don't need to keep carrying it along and continually repenting every now and then of what the Lord has already forgiven me. The other thing, through sharing with group members in DC,
I also came to appreciate that the people who sort of reject us or they pushed us aside or they behaved and treated us in a certain manner, it wasn't because they wanted to do that. It was purely because they were also not understanding what we are going through. They didn't know how to handle us. For example, personally, I was very entrenched in church. I've been a born-again lady since my class 8 there. So I have been in church throughout. I have participated in issues to do with the church. And so when the congregants see you, they were looking up to you, they sort of feel, I would say, shocked. They are like, oh, if that marriage can fail, then what about us? I mean, that one has been a prayerful person. We've been seeing her reading the word, Nini leading worship, premarital classes, then all of a sudden her marriage is... So they are also, they don't know how to reconcile what has just happened. So for me, through DC, one of the things that I've been able to do is to release those people. I mean, it's been a journey, but then there's a session where we have to do breaking of soul ties. And while we were doing our session for breaking of soul ties, one of the things that I came to understand is that soul ties are not just that what you get through sexual affiliation. There are also people you have held heavily in your heart because of what they have done into your life. So for me, through the DC, I was able to write down those names, pray over them, and release them. And one of the greatest takeaway for me from DC is that I've been able to pray for people who I felt hurt me, hurt my children, and even including forgiving my ex, really, and being able to bless him and to bless anybody who was in that mix. Because you realize that the minute you do not release those people, then you are taking in the position of God. And you know, when Jesus was on the cross saying, forgive them for they know not what they are doing, for me that has hit home so much that it's only through forgiving that then I am forgiven. And if the people knew who they were doing bad thing to, they wouldn't do it. Even Stephen, when he was being stoned, said, forgive them, Lord, for they know not what they are doing. And it's after that forgiveness that Paul became who he became, an evangelist. And we have benefited a lot from Paul. So even for me, through DC, I am really thankful to Parklands Baptist, thankful to the senior pastor, Ambrose, and also thankful to Jenny and the facilitators, because I have been able to release anybody from my heart. And then I can be able to walk free, to thrive, to receive the inheritance from the Lord, to be a destiny a carrier, and to fulfill the mandate that the Lord has called me for. So I'm really, really grateful for DC.
Just an additional thought from my end is the fact that DC, there is something we call Tribe 48. You know, you mingle with people who talk the same language. There are a lot of, emotional roller coasters that you go through, and you meet with guys who are going through the same, and then you encourage yourself, this thing we have to pull through, we have to thrive through, and God sees us through these things together. We are family. As we speak currently, most of my close friends, genuine friends, are DC people. Recently I had a funeral, and I can tell you, I lost my little brother. DC people, DCians, they stood with me closer than my own people. I call them, I have friends and fans nowadays. I realize I have a lot of fans and very few friends, but DCians came through for me. They kept on calling me and praying for me before, during, and after the burial. I really give thanks to God.
To DC by a friend of mine who knew what I was going through and told me once I had finalized on my divorce, the next thing that I should do is DC. Obviously, after that event in your life, you wonder, does anyone understand you, or are people just throwing in solutions to you and you're not ready for them? But the beauty of it is during the process, I asked God to walk with me. I even made a covenant with him that if I walk out of this, that time I was calling it this thing, I will go out there and testify of God's doing in my life. And having broken by the fact that I lost my dad when I was very young, so I had a lot of issues that I was dealing with. And now I'm married, I'm a firstborn, so you can only imagine what was going through my mind. And when it was successfully done legally, I actually subscribed for it. I got the manual. And one thing that stood out for me when my friend shared about DC is, Emily, you have to forgive yourself first. And once you forgive yourself, you will be able to forgive the others. There's no way you can go out here saying you're healed and you've not healed from within. So I was looking at myself like a wound which is oozing pus. And obviously, you can only imagine the thought of it. It would have hurt other people. So I knew who will actually heal this. It's not a doctor, nothing, even a therapist. There's nothing they can do other than accepting yourself and surrendering myself to God wholly, 110%, if there's something like that. And that worked really well for me. And with group therapy, you find authentic people. You realize, it was just not how you actually looked at your marriage. You find other people have different reasons. And the best part of it is we had people of the opposite gender in the same group. So you get to know, so maybe what I did also contributed to the marriage breaking down. And in an African setup, the men, I love what the team is doing, and actually we're encouraging more men to seek help, because it's not something that should actually destroy your destiny. You're called for a purpose. That's why you're still alive and you're not dead. There's nothing bad as walking dead because of unforgiveness. So I thank Parklands Baptist for this opportunity. I thank Jenny, the facilitators, my team members, for actually sharing their story with me, opening their world for me, so that even when I'm engaging with other people, I'm able to know I can actually smell or sense pain from a distance, and I'm able to assist other people and actually evangelize of God's love over my life. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for that. Additionally, we learn, so there's something else we learn about co-parenting. I picked from DC, co-parenting, that, and I'm speaking to men. If you're a man, you're out there, either divorced, separated, there's something about co-parenting. I have a responsibility. This was reinforced through DC, that over my children I have a responsibility. And it's not because I'm not just supposed to support my children when my ex is behaving well. It is my responsibility to support my children, whether she's behaving well towards me or not. And so it's something that has been reinforced through DC. And I just want to urge men, because of the pain of separation and divorce, do not let that pain draw you away from your children. Take responsibility and do it. And as you come to DC, there is a lot you learn together that can, just enable you to plug in, to swim in, and to be a father. Because those kids, you're still their father. Whether you are together with your ex or not, you're still their father.
And I like what you've just said. That quite often I think about it and I ask myself, if I was a child in a home where parents had separated, would I like for one of my parents not to be in my life completely, forever? And it's such a hard place to be. And there are many children who are growing up with deep-rooted issues. And an absent parent, just because, as a man, I am not there for my children. I'm not providing for them because I have this deep pain, this deep resentment towards my ex. And through divorce care, personally I learned that as a man, I had a very hard challenge accepting that my relationship had failed. I had pain, I had grief. Through that whole process of interacting with my group members, sharing with them and also learning from them, I learned to extend grace to myself just as God extends it to me. I learned that forgiveness is very important. That the relationship just didn't fail because of one person, that I had to search deeper and understand how I contributed to the failure and how my ex contributed to that failure. So if God, decided to forgive each one of us for all the really big sins that we've done, who am I not to forgive someone who I used to once love and once call my favorite person or my partner? So that's also something that I've really learned out of DC. And I'm grateful for Divorce Care for giving us that platform to be able to interact and as men to be able to open up and accept that even if failure is not part of what you dream of in life, it does come. And when it comes, you need to be able to stand up, speak up, support one another. Don't end up in the vices that you talked about. If it's drinking, if it's in sexual immorality, those things will ultimately destroy you. But divorce care gives you an opportunity to be able to see things in a real perspective, how to walk in strength, how to look back and be able to correct the things that were done wrongly, but also how to face forward knowing that you have a better and a brighter future and you can carve your future in a better way.
Talking of sexual purity, immediately after separation or divorce, it's an area of concern because you've been having this sexual partner, your wife, for many years, and all of a sudden they are not there. So it's an area of challenge, and I thank God for DC because it's an open forum. We talk about it, people share their experiences, and we draw strength from the Word of God and support each other in seeking to honor God even in those circumstances. Yeah.
Thank you. My name is James Joka, and I would like to comment further about the issue of acceptance. I would first wish to thank Parklands Baptist Church for providing a forum where people who have gone through divorce and separation can find acceptance and receive opportunity to heal the deep wounds of emotions. When I first got to know about divorce care, it was through one of the pastors who called me and informed me about this program. And naturally, I was very negative about it because I had actually lived as a separated person for almost 25 years. And those are very many years, actually, to be out there in the cold. And although I had spent most of that time looking after my children, but I knew that there was so much that I was lacking in myself because one, I was embarrassed of myself. Over those years, I had lost my ability or even power to worship. Even going to church, I used to attend a church just like an old member and then disappear out of church very quickly because one, I didn't have company and there was really nothing to share about. So in short, I didn't have fellowship. One of the reasons because initially when my marriage broke down, there was no support system in my former church. And although verbally there was no indication that I was not welcome or I did not have space, but even the treatment and body language and a loss of membership benefits and general acceptance, it was all there, it was all written all over, and that one was enough, to put me on the sidelines. And indeed 25 years is a very long time. One of the things that I came to learn is that in some of the places of worship, it may not be actually written in black and white, but the absence of those support systems is itself an indication that people like us who are divorced or separated do not have a space in such congregations. And when a member now falls out of normal fellowship for lack of support system or for not being welcome in the fellowship system in the church, they're able to find company out there. And the company out there can also be very welcoming. And the kind of values that embrace you out there are values that actually break you down further and take you further away from God. So my appreciation really goes to Paki because by providing an avenue for recovery and support is actually akin to what happens in a normal battlefield, where wounded soldiers are actually given medication and first aid, and even taken for special treatment so that they have a chance for life again, and they live to fight again and defend their country. So having joined the divorce care, I was able to receive first-hand help through the course program and the materials of the curriculum. It's very informative. I was able to deal with the anger issues that I had. I was able to deal with the depression that I had been carrying over the years, and which I did not know actually was depression, but it had eaten deep within me. I was able to also deal with myself as an individual, because I knew that I had failed. I considered myself a failure because, after all, I knew that for the marriage breaking up that I was really not what I needed to be. There was also the shame issue, because talking about my status to other people was very embarrassing. I did not want to disclose the fact that my marriage is broken, and because it's normal in society for you to be accepted when your marriage is functioning. So I considered myself a failure on that account. So I was able to also deal with the subject of resolving conflict and also forgiveness. So it's only after I was able to understand about forgiveness that it's not about justifying the fact that the actual offense or the actual issue did not happen, but it is actually transferring the burden of that hurtfulness, that pain, to God Himself, that He may carry it on my behalf, and so that I am free to allow God the space to work in me. And that's why Jesus, when He was teaching His disciples how to pray, He talked about prayer, and He told them that as they pray, that they need to ask the Father to forgive their trespasses, as we forgive them that trespass against us. And He emphasized that if we do not forgive men of their trespasses, that even our Father in heaven will not forgive our trespasses. So it is only after understanding that and taking the action to forgive my former spouse and to forgive everyone that I had wronged. I also had time to apologize to my kids, because I know that over the years, even as a dad, I had made certain mistakes in the parenting process. I knew that as the principal stakeholders in the family, that I needed to apologize to them for growing up in a dysfunctional family. I needed to ask them for forgiveness as well. And it is only after that that my heart felt free and able to embrace God, and I was able to recover my ability to worship and pray. And so I thank God for the acceptance and the opportunity, to have a space to speak my heart out and to meet a new set of friends. In divorce care, having attended season 4, season 5, and even season 6 and season 7 in leadership, I have met so many wonderful friends. Initially, I had lost all my friends because, after all, there was nothing much to talk about. But right now, I have over hundreds and hundreds of friends that we can talk and agree on each other and encourage each other on this journey. So in the process, I was able to engage in another program that is a single and parenting program. This program is about inculcating skills on parents, single parents who are looking after children after divorce or separation, able to help them deal with the trauma of divorce and separation, to help single parents also manage better their careers, their finances, and their ability to blend in society, and also their ability to deal with the forgiveness, and to also be able to teach their children on the way they should grow, how to embrace godly values, and to help them also overcome the common problems that we have in society that have surrounded our kids, such as peer pressure that leads them to drugs and alcohol abuse, and to also learn how to speak to the hearts of the children so that these children grow in the fear of the Lord, and also the skills on how to co-parent and how to be able to accommodate, understand the position of the other parent, because as much as you could be living apart, as much as you could have walked different ways, the children belong to the two of you. And I consider that course a very valuable course, which I recommend for anybody who has gone through divorce or separation. It's also possible, for like men, naturally when people divorce or separate, the children go mostly with the mothers. And we have just a few single fathers out there, but I would encourage as many as possible to also endeavor to learn about these skills by enrolling to that program so that they can understand better how to participate in their parenting skills, as much as they may not be living together, but provide a shoulder of support to their kids as much as they may be living with the other parent. So this is one of the best experiences I would say I've had in as many years.
Hi, I am Liz Mairura, and my parting shot would be to enforce the fact that divorce is just like any other challenge that a human being can go through. People go through sicknesses. Anyone can be met by a sickness. And so is divorce. Anyone can go through divorce. So if you're out there and you're separated or divorced, do not feel like an outcast on whom something huge and shameful and abominable has happened to. And if you know someone who is going through divorce or separation, do not ostracize them. These people need a lot of love, support. That is the time to be that friend. That is the time to prove what a good friend you are. If your friend is going through this kind of a challenge, stand with them just the way you would stand with your friend who is unwell and go to hospital and check on them. Also, check on this friend of yours who is going through this challenge. You don't need to say anything to them because you might not know the right thing to say, especially if you've not gone through it. Sometimes just visiting them and sitting or just calling or sending a text to say, hey, just checking on you is enough. And don't try to be mjuaji and give a lot of unsolicited advice, especially if you've not been there, because you're likely to say the wrong things that you're trying to avoid saying in the first place. Thank you.
Thank you. Mine is just a rallying call to men. Relationships fail, and when they do, it doesn't mean that you're a failure. We also have a responsibility to own our part in contributing to the failure of the relationship, to own our responsibility in looking after our children even after the separation, and also a responsibility to ourselves, to our own bodies, which we refer to as the temple of the Holy Spirit. So the vices, the drinking, the depression, the sexual immorality, we owe it to ourselves to cut that. Our destiny still stands.
My parting shot will be, irrespective of the age or how many years you are separated from your ex-spouse, as long as you are still alive, there is a God in heaven who hears prayers. Surrender yourself unto Him, and believe you me, He will heal you, transform you, and restores all those wasted time that you wasted crying in pain and all that. There's a God who restores, and actually your future is greater than your past.
My parting shot is God is heavily invested in each and every one of us as His creation. He is so invested in that He credits the life of Jesus into our lives, so that then we can start debiting from that end, sinless life of Jesus, because of how much God loves us. And knowing that I belong to Christ, for me, that is so liberating. You know, when something belongs to you, then you will avail everything. So I belong to God. So God avails everything for my pleasure. It is me to accept the belonging to the Lord. Thank you.
My parting shot is to those who are married. Please keep your marriage, work on it, value it, love, forgive, work on it. And for those who have challenges in their marriage or they are separated and divorced, God hates divorce because the pain divorce and separation generates, it's painful. I don't know how to describe it, but it is painful. But one fact I want to tell you is God loves the person going through divorce or separation. Just know he loves you. He hates divorce, but he loves the people going through divorce because he said he'll never leave us nor forsake us. Hold on to God. That is the only thing that will see you through this season. Thank you so much.
My name is Julie Kuna. I was in Divorce Care season 5. And for me, divorce gave me restoration. I got renewed hope of a bright future, better days ahead, and hope for even a remarriage one day. I would like to thank the church, Parklands Baptist Church, Jenny, for leading the group and all the facilitators.
Wow, that was really, really amazing. Getting to hear of such testimonies for me is so fulfilling. Just getting to hear of a turning, a turn around. You know how people came in broken, crushed, but now the story has changed. They are talking differently. They are encouraged. Their hope has been restored. I think that is so very key to me. And my prayer and call to the people out there, because what I say, for each and every divorced woman, there is a man. And we tend to see many of the women coming out and seeking help, and it's our call, as my colleagues have said, even for the men, a time has come for the men to come out. It's about you, it's about your life, and once you are able to transform your individual life, then families will be transformed, our children's lives will be transformed, the society will be transformed, the churches will be transformed, the nation as a whole will be transformed. So let's take this as a call, an individual call, just reflecting and just coming out seeking help in case you are in that situation of going through separation or divorce. And now my as I come to a close is to say we are offering divorce care classes, so be on the lookout for our posters, for advertisement when we'll be doing our next class. That is season 8, come next year around February. We shall advertise. Yeah, so it's my call out there for each and every person. If you are going through separation, if you are going through divorce, if you are going through challenges in your relationship, there's a place that you can come. You can come to Parklands Baptist Church. We have divorce care ministry that will address their issue. You'll find a family, you'll find a community that will be able to understand, will be able to walk with you. So for me is to call up to everyone out there, come forth, because you are in charge of your life. Shalom.